Thank you, and good morning. It's such a privilege for me to be here as well. And as I look out at this room and know that all of us here are so very committed to the work we do together to support our students, your children. And I just wanted to make a very brief remark this morning because I know there's a full day planned, and that is, I'm guessing that many of you know that over the last while we've been engaged in some really important work related to how do we enhance equitable conditions in each and every school so that our students may achieve, they can be successful, and that we are supporting their well-being as well, physically, emotionally, socially, and so forth. We've been engaged in that work because we know that we've learned a lot about how to create schools that help our students succeed, but we also know that we can learn so much more. And one of the greatest lessons I personally have learned from this process is we are a complex system. There can be challenges in terms of how we work together because of that, but that should never be a block. We're committed to continuing to improve in terms of what I will say is responsiveness. It's a word we've been using quite a bit, a mutual responsiveness. In other words, when barriers exist, we figure out how to remove them. When challenges emerge, we work together to sort it out. It won't always be easy, but that's the commitment underlying responsiveness. Another commitment that is significant is that we need to continue and strengthen and enhance how we start with each student, his or her strengths, interests, identities, abilities, and needs. We start with our students. We don't do it the other way around. And that's where your amazing partnership comes into play, because when we do the work together, we have a better understanding on how to serve your children. We have a better understanding of those strengths and stories, those passions and dreams, because you are the first teacher, as we've already heard. And what we believe is when we know those very important aspects of your children, then our programming can meet them where they are and take them to great places, again, with you. It's so exciting to be in the TDSB and to see the commitment that's in this room right now. I will echo my thanks to the many, many parents who led this work, to the staff members who supported that leadership, and I'm sure it's going to be a great day for all of us, for our students. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Most grateful. I am humbled to be here with all you parents as partners, and you give me the standing ovation when 600 schools of parents are here, and I am standing here as Unstoppable Tracy because of my unstoppable parents. No word of a lie. It's very true. Thank you. Applause for you. Amazing. You know, I know there is a place for each and every single one of you in this room, and absolutely every single one of your children that you are here to support thriving and becoming not the leaders of tomorrow, but the leaders of today. You are those leaders, and your children are already those leaders of today. I learned this my very first day of kindergarten from my mom. I remember walking to school, holding my mom's hand with a few of the neighbors, and we got outside of the school on the sidewalk. And the wonderful principal was standing in the doorway of the school, welcoming all of the children, those coming back and the new kindergarten kids, and the parents introducing himself. And he saw me and my mom coming up the sidewalk. And from the doorway, he raised his hand and he said, "Stop." We didn't know he was speaking to us. And so he came running out of the sidewalk. He's like, stop, stop, stop. And I'm 5 years old. I have no idea. I look around and I clue in. It's me. So I stop, and so I make my mom stop, who's holding my hand. And he approaches us. And my mom says, hello, I'm Tracy's mom. And he says, hello. I'm very sorry. Tracy can't go to this school. And as a 5-year-old, my heart just dropped. Right? My friends from my street are beside me. And I'm the extrovert, Mom's the introvert. So I say to my friends, I said, well, I'll meet you inside. And so they go ahead. And so my mom could have been all mama bear about, what do you mean? But she wasn't. She just listened. She asked a question. She said, how come? And the principal explained, well, there's 30 kids in Tracy's classroom. There's only one teacher. You know, the Rick Hansen and the Terry Foxes had not, at that point, really done a big influence. And so we didn't have educational assistants or, child and youth workers and special education teachers in the classroom yet. So it was going to be one teacher and 30 kids. How does one teacher support me as a 4-way amputee while she's got 30 kindergarten kids that have never been to school before? Right? It made sense. But my mom, she heard his frustration. She said, what are your concerns? And the principal said, well, Tracy's got to be able to tie her shoelaces, and she's got to be able to go to the washroom by herself. So my mom heard no, N-O, as no, K-N-O-W. He just doesn't know. He just doesn't know. So speaking to his listening, she said, how about we try Tracy just for 1 week? And if it doesn't work out, no problem. Then we'll consider some other schools. So now he's not stuck, and the teacher's not stuck with something they can't resolve. It's just 1 week. He said, okay. So my mom and I, we walked up the sidewalk of the school, and we got to the front door. And when we got to the front door of the school, before we walked in, my mom stopped me, and she got down on her knees, and she grabbed my shoulders, right, to hold this wriggly 5-year-old. You can tell I'm still wriggly. And she held my arms, and I'm telling you this story right now, and as I'm saying it to you right now, I can feel, like it's my earliest memory, I can still feel, the super grip of my mom's hands in my arms of intensity. And I have no idea why she's like holding me so intensely. And she says to me, she says, Tracy, it's really important that you and everybody are included. Nobody's left behind at recess, including you. I do not know why she's so intense, but I just say, okay, Mom. So at recess time, the principal goes outside to look for me. By now, he's really hopeful that I make it outside for recess. It means I can stay at his school. He can't see me anywhere. And then he has a light bulb. It's her first day. She needs 5 minutes to pull herself together. Literally, pull myself together. So he waits 10 minutes, and he looks for me around the schoolyard in every corner. He doesn't see me anywhere. He goes to the last corner of the schoolyard, and 15 minutes go by. The recess bell goes off, and I never made it outside. So now the principal's heart drops. So he wants to find out what happened. He walks inside, he finds my teacher, and he says, "What happened? Couldn't Tracy tie her shoelaces in time?" And the teacher says, all confused, her face is perplexed. And she's like, "No? She couldn't tie her shoelaces? No, she was the first one with her shoelaces tied." So what happened? And the teacher says, "Oh, well, her little friend couldn't tie her shoelaces, so Tracy gave her a hand." It turns out none of those 30 kids could tie their shoelaces. Thank you. Thank you. My mom said, everybody included. By the time I tied 30 shoelaces, the recess bell had gone off. So how come the only girl with no hands was the only girl required to be able to tie her shoelaces? So all of you, there's teachers in the room, and there's directors in the room, and wonderful superintendents in the room, and so importantly, most importantly, there are parents in the room. You know how many of us have been told no? Yeah, right? All of us. So Mom taught me, you counteroffer no, and you listen to no as if they just don't know, K-N-O-W. And that there is a place for each and every single one of us. I got to meet some of you parents in the room, and I know that some kids are thriving, and you're here to continue thriving, and there's some kids battling with early issues for mental wellness, and that there's different kids with different needs, and so many folks, whether it's lesbian, bi, gay, trans, queer, or yes, or whether it's, you know, it's the cultural diversity, or whether it's people with a physical disability, or whether it's mental wellness. There is a place for each and every one of us. And yes, yes, thank you. I grew up, and because I could swim, I could sail. And because I could sail, I could teach sailing. And because I could teach sailing, I could apply to teachers' college and be a teacher. I completely understand how does one teacher and 30 kids manage a 4-way amputee. But you don't know unless you try. And so we've got to just believe bigger than ourselves. Thank you. So I would love to share with you the Limitless secret. I spell limitless with a B. Forgive all the teachers. Forgive me, teachers. And that's because I'm limitless. It's not a very good joke when I have to spell it. So you exceed uncertainty, you embrace possibility, and you earn independence. When you exceed uncertainty, I started sailing by falling out of a boat because I didn't wear my legs swimming, so I was top heavy. I spent more time swimming with the fish than I did in the boat. They gave me a fish at the end of the season because I spent so much time swimming with the fish. All the other kids got their white sail level 1. All the other kids passed. I failed my white sail level 1. I grew up to sail against male-dominated sport. When I sailed in World Cup regattas with able-bodied people, and that just means they got their arms and legs. My 7-year-old nephew says, "Tracy, you're able-bodied." Gets all confused. What do you mean? But our wonderful John, obviously, big, strong man, big muscles, that was with us speaking before myself. I sailed against 37 Johns. I can let you in on a secret. I can beat John in a sailboat. Thank you. So World Cup regattas, 37 men on the line, able-bodied, 3 women. There were a couple of other sailors with disabilities. One of them was missing a thumb. One of them was missing a foot. A couple paralyzed from the waist down, but still big, strong arms, big, strong men. I call those paper cuts. It's nothing on a 4-way amputee. And so for all of us fighting for our children and for being the leaders of today as parents and inspiring the leaders of today and your children is the paper cuts of context, and to stick with it. Even if you feel like you're falling out of a boat, uncertainty is no excuse for inaction. And you exceed uncertainty and you embrace possibility. The first time someone said, "Let's go skiing," I had no idea how I was going to ski. Did I stay home or did I go for it? That's right, I went for it. And so we go to the ski hill. We still don't know how I'm going to ski. John, will you tell me what size your shoes are? 11! I promise you, I didn't set this up. My ski instructor also had size 11 feet. Thank goodness for those folks with size 11 feet. Why that's relevant, John, and all you wonderful parents, is what we did is we took my legs off and we put my thighs in men's ski boots backwards. So it put me in that duck squat position, the tuck position of skiing. We wouldn't have figured that out on a couch at home. You gotta go for it. You gotta put yourself in the scenario, and it doesn't matter you don't know how, you figure it out. You embrace the possibility. You exceed uncertainty. Inaction is no, or fear and unknown is no excuse for inaction. You embrace the possibility even if you don't know how, and you earn independence. I remember the first time I went climbing and rappelling on the cliffs of Ontario Thunder Bay, and I felt like I was hanging there all alone out there off that cliff. I imagine many of you feel all alone out there sometimes when you were doing your advocating and when you were overcoming your scenarios and when you were making a difference and influencing and persuading others who just don't know. And when I was hanging there all alone on that cliff, a voice from above shouts, "Tracy, are you on the ground?" I forgot. There's someone on my lifeline, on my safety line. So then I was excited I wasn't alone. And then I was afraid she thinks I'm on the ground. And then I had a light bulb. I'm doing it. I'm rappelling. I'm climbing. But I never would have done it alone. I never would have had the exhilarated feeling of independence that I can do it if it wasn't for someone on my lifeline. Today, parents as partners are that lifeline. You are my lifeline, and you are each other's lifeline, sitting at the table together. Those are your lifelines. And the people in this room that are here to support you, that were on this stage, are your lifeline. You don't earn independence alone. You rally your lifelines. I got to go on and climb the Himalayas of Nepal. Thank you. Thank you. So the limitless secret to an unstoppable you, forget Unstoppable Tracy, an unstoppable you is exceed uncertainty, embrace possibility, and earn independence with those lifelines of parents as partners, all of you in this room, and you will have the limitless secret. I grew up to be a teacher. And then I grew up to help Air Canada through bankruptcy and mergers. And I helped Uber break into Canada. And I helped Shoppers Drug Mart through pharmaceutical reform. How come? Because I'm the counteroffer no girl. Thank you. Thank you. But how come I'm counteroffer no? How come I'm Unstoppable Tracy and inspiring you to be unstoppable you, take action as unstoppable you? Because of my mom and my dad. Thank you, parents as partners. No, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very grateful. No, Amy, thank you. Wow. Oh. Oh. No. Oh. Thank you. Thank you.